I am going to tell you a story about the birth of the most powerful demons in the three worlds. This is the story of the birth of Lankesh Ravana, the mighty Kumbhakarna, the cruel Shurpanakha, and the righteous Vibhishana. Come, walk with me into that time when this earth was filled with the struggles between gods and demons. On the golden land of Lanka, where the ocean waves sang their stories day and night, there ruled a demon king named Sumali. Sumali was extremely powerful, but he had tasted defeat at the hands of the gods in battle. His daughter was Kaikesi, extraordinarily beautiful, but the flames of revenge burned in her heart. One day, Kaikesi's father Sumali called her close. There was a strange gleam in his eyes, as if some plan was forming. "Daughter," Sumali said, "I have grown old. The gods have defeated us, taken away Lanka. But I want our lineage to become great again, so powerful that even the gods tremble in fear." "Father, how is this possible?" Kaikesi asked. "You must marry a great sage," Sumali explained. "If a demoness marries a great Brahmin sage, their children will be immensely powerful. They will possess both the knowledge of a Brahmin and the strength of a demon." Sumali sent Kaikesi to sage Vishrava. Vishrava was the son of the great sage Pulastya, a great ascetic and scholar. He deeply loved his first wife, Ilavila, from whom he had received a son as wealthy and righteous as Kubera. When Kaikesi reached Vishrava's ashram, it was evening time. Redness spread across the sky. Birds were returning to their nests. But this was no auspicious hour. This was the time of demons, when darkness begins to spread its empire. Sage Vishrava rose from his meditation and saw Kaikesi. His divine sight understood everything. He knew why Kaikesi had come, and he also knew that if he rejected her, she might curse him in anger. "You have come at an inauspicious hour, Kaikesi," Vishrava said gravely. "Children born at this time will have demonic tendencies, cruel, arrogant, and destructive." But Kaikesi was firm in her goal. "I accept this, great sage." "Very well," Vishrava sighed. "But your last child will be born at an auspicious hour, and that one will be righteous." And thus the marriage of Vishrava and Kaikesi took place. This was no love marriage, but a game of destiny that would change the future of the three worlds. Sometime later, Kaikesi became pregnant, but this was no ordinary pregnancy. Strange signs began appearing in the sky. Red stars shone at night. Unexplained darkness fell during the day. Wild animals became restless. Birds flew about shrieking. It seemed as if nature itself knew that something terrible was about to be born. When the first child was born, the entire universe trembled. Lightning struck. Earthquakes came. Storms arose in the ocean. This was a boy with 10 heads and 20 arms. His cry was so loud it was heard in the realm of the gods. Indra trembled sitting on his throne. Lord Brahma said with concern, "A mighty demon has been born." This boy was named Dashanan, who would later be known as Ravana. At birth itself, his radiance was so fierce that the midwives were afraid to touch him. His 10 eyes looked in different directions, as if they wanted to swallow the entire universe at once. When sage Vishrava saw his son, tears came to his eyes. "This boy will become a great scholar," he said, "knower of all Vedas and scriptures, but arrogance will consume him. He will be so powerful that he will challenge the gods, but in the end, his downfall too will come from that very arrogance." Ravana was extraordinary from childhood. Where other children played with toys, Ravana learned warfare. At 3 years of age, he could recite all the Vedas.
By 5, he had mastered archery. His 10 tongues could simultaneously utter different mantras, but he had no compassion. He would kill forest animals and be happy. He would frighten children weaker than himself. Sage Vishrava would explain to him, strength should be used for protection, not destruction. But Ravana would laugh and say, "Father, the powerful need not fear anyone. In this world, only strength rules."
A few years after Ravana's birth, Kaikesi gave birth to a second son. This time too, strange signs appeared in nature, but different from before. Dense black clouds covered the sky, clouds that signaled not rain, but deep sleep. This boy, as soon as he was born, slept for 6 months straight. There was no way to wake him. His body was gigantic, muscles hard as stone. When he breathed, it sounded like a storm. When he finally woke, he shook the earth with his weight. This boy was named Kumbhakarna. Kumbha meaning pot, because his belly was as large as a pot, and Karna meaning ear, because his ears were large like an elephant's ears. Kumbhakarna's hunger was incomparable. He would eat the food of hundreds of people at once. Cows, buffaloes, goats, everything would fit into his stomach. And after eating, he would sleep for months. Vishrava said upon seeing Kumbhakarna, "This boy too will be mighty. He has the power to shake the universe. But his sleep will be his greatest weakness. When he wakes, the earth will tremble, but most of the time he will remain in slumber." Kumbhakarna was not as cruel by nature as Ravana. He loved his elder brother and always obeyed him. Whatever brother says is right. This was his principle. He had no ambition of his own, just eating, sleeping, and fighting for his brother. That was his life. After Ravana and Kumbhakarna, Kaikesi gave birth to a daughter. This birth came with even more inauspicious signs. The moon turned red like blood. A strange foul smell spread in the air. Dogs howled all night. This girl was deformed from birth. Her nails were long and sharp like a hawk's talons. Her nose was pointed and her ears pointed like those of a demoness. There was a strange cruelty in her eyes. This girl was named Shurpanakha. Shupa meaning winnowing basket and Naka meaning nails, because her nails were large and sharp like a winnowing basket. Shurpanakha was cunning and clever from childhood. She was jealous of her brothers, especially Ravana, because everyone praised only him. "No one listens to me because I am a girl," she would often say angrily. But Shurpanakha had a special quality. She could change forms. She could hide her true deformed body and assume the form of an extremely beautiful woman, and she made full use of this art. Vishrava said sadly upon seeing Shurpanakha, "This girl will be skilled in cunning and deceit. Great calamities will come because of her. She will be the cause of some great destruction." Hearing her father's words, Shurpanakha laughed and said, "That's good, father. The world should remember that I too exist. Not only men are great, women too can change history." After the birth of 3 children, Kaikesi became pregnant again. But this time, Sage Vishrava took care that this conception happened at an auspicious moment. He said to Kaikesi, "Your 3 children are of demonic nature. The 4th child should be righteous to bring balance to this lineage." This pregnancy was different from the previous 3. There were no inauspicious signs. Rather, peace prevailed all around. Flowers kept blooming, birds sang sweet songs, fragrance spread in the air. When the 4th child was born, it was morning time. The first rays of the sun were entering the ashram. This boy was beautiful, with divine radiance on his face. There was compassion in his eyes, a smile on his lips. This boy was named Vibhishana, Vibhishana meaning fearsome. But this name was ironic because there was no fearsomeness in him at all. Vishrava gave this name because he knew that living among demons, this boy would follow the Dharma. And for demons, nothing is more fearsome than Dharma. Vibhishana was different from birth. Where Ravana read the Vedas to gain power, Vibhishana read them to understand them. Where Kumbhakarna remained absorbed in sleep, Vibhishana remained absorbed in meditation. Where Shurpanakha learned deceit, Vibhishana spoke of truth and justice. Vishrava was very proud of this son. "You are the best among all my sons, Vibhishana," he would say. "Your brothers are powerful, but you are righteous, and in the end, Dharma always wins." The 4 siblings grew up together, but there was a world of difference between them. Ravana was extremely ambitious. "I will become the lord of all 3 worlds," he would declare. "Gods, humans, and demons all will bow before me. I will become immortal, invincible." He would practice austerities day and night, practice warfare, perform sadhana of mantras. His knowledge was limitless. The 4 Vedas, 6 scriptures, 64 arts. He was proficient in all. When he played the veena, even gods would be spellbound. But there was no compassion in his heart, no humility. He was proud of his power. Kumbhakarna was like his brother's shadow. Whatever Ravana brother says, that's what will happen. This was his mantra. He didn't want to think for himself. He just wanted food, wanted sleep, and wanted opportunities to fight for his brother. He too had immense strength. He could uproot mountains, stop the flow of rivers. But his sleep made him weak. He would sleep for 6 months, then wake for 1 day, cause terrible destruction, and then sleep again. Shurpanakha felt separate from her brothers. "I am powerful too," she would shout, "but no one gives me importance because I am a woman." She mastered illusion and deceit. She could change her form, read people's minds, confuse them. She had intelligence, but she used that intelligence for wrong deeds. She was jealous of her brothers, of her father, of the whole world. Vibhishana was different from all of them. He was calm, patient, and devoted to Dharma. Dharma is greater than strength, he would say. Power should be used for protection, not oppression. He would try to explain to his brothers, but no one would listen. Ravana would laugh at him. "You are a coward, Vibhishana. You don't have demon blood in you." Kumbhakarna would remain indifferent. Shurpanakha would mock him, but Vibhishana would not waver from his path. When all 4 siblings became young, they decided to perform penance. Ravana and Kumbhakarna wanted to obtain boons from Brahma. Shurpanakha wanted to please Shiva, and Vibhishana just wanted to worship God. After thousands of years of penance, Brahma appeared before Ravana. "Ask for a boon, son," he said. Ravana said arrogantly, "Give me the boon that no god, Gandharva, Yaksha, Danava, demon, or any divine being can kill me." Brahma asked with a smile, "And humans and monkeys?" Ravana laughed loudly. "Humans? Monkeys? They are insignificant creatures. What danger to me from them? No, I can kill them with my little finger." "So be it," Brahma said, and vanished. But there was a strange gleam in his eyes, as if he knew that Ravana had invited his own death. Kumbhakarna also received a boon, but an accident occurred. When he was about to ask for a boon, goddess Saraswati confused his tongue. He wanted to ask for Indrasana, Indra's throne, but what came out of his mouth was Nidrasana, throne of sleep, and thus he was cursed that he would sleep for 6 months, then wake for only 1 day. Shurpanakha also received boons, the power to change forms, the ability to spread illusion, and long life. But she didn't receive the boon she wanted most, to receive love. Vibhishana didn't ask for any material boon. He just prayed, "Lord, give me the strength to always walk on the path of Dharma. Even if my own turn against me, may I not waver from truth." And he received the boon that he would be immortal and would always walk on the path of Dharma. After receiving the boons, Ravana began establishing his empire. He defeated his stepbrother Kubera and captured Lanka. Lanka, that golden city which once belonged to Kubera, now became Ravana's. He had magnificent palaces built there, gardens planted. But there was cruelty in his rule. There was arrogance. Kumbhakarna lived in Lanka, lost in his sleep. When he would wake, hundreds of cooks would be engaged to prepare his food. For one meal, he would need thousands of mons of grain, hundreds of animals.
Shurpanakha created her empire in Dandakaranya. There, she became the queen of demons. Stories of her cruelty spread far and wide. She would trouble sages and monks, create obstacles in yajnas, but there was an emptiness in her heart. She wanted love, but no one loved her. Vibhishana remained in Lanka, but he always tried to show his brother the path of Dharma. "Brother, this oppression is wrong," he would say. "Power should be used to protect the weak, not to exploit them." But Ravana wouldn't listen.
Time passed. Ravana's empire grew. He defeated the gods, imprisoned Indra, later released him, made the 9 planets the wheels of his chariot. His arrogance touched the sky. "I am the most powerful in the 3 worlds," he would declare. "No one can defeat me." But destiny had other plans. The very humans and monkeys that Ravana had considered insignificant were going to be the cause of his destruction. In Ayodhya, Sri Rama had been born, an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And one day, in the forests of Dandakaranya, Shurpanakha's eyes were going to fall upon him.
Today, as I tell this story, I think how strange this all was. 4 siblings, children of the same parents, yet so different.
Kumbhakarna was a tragedy. So much power, so much strength, but all in vain because he always kept sleeping. And when he woke, he fought not by his own thinking, but by his brother's orders. He had no wish of his own, no dream of his own. Shurpanakha was the most tragic character, a woman who was powerful, intelligent, but society never accepted her. Her beauty was called deformity, her ambition called wickedness. She wanted love, but received only scorn. And in the end, one mistake of hers caused the destruction of the entire demon race. And Vibhishana, a righteous man born among demons, his entire life was a struggle, choosing between his Dharma and his family. In the end, he chose Dharma, and that's why he survived when all the rest were destroyed. The birth of these 4 siblings was no ordinary event. It was part of a grand drama of the universe. Every birth had a purpose. Ravana was born so that Lord Vishnu would have to take incarnation as Rama. Kumbhakarna was born to show that strength without wisdom is useless. Shurpanakha was born to teach that arrogance and lust lead to destruction, and Vibhishana was born to tell that Dharma is the ultimate victor. Even today, thousands and lakhs of years later, we listen to their stories and learn. From Ravana, we learn that knowledge must be accompanied by humility, otherwise arrogance destroys everything. From Kumbhakarna, we learn that blind devotion is dangerous. We must think for ourselves what is right. From Shurpanakha, we learn that blinded by anger and lust, we can lead not only ourselves, but also our loved ones toward destruction. And from Vibhishana, we learn that walking on the path of truth and Dharma is never wrong, no matter how many difficulties come. This was the story of the birth of Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shurpanakha, and Vibhishana. 4 siblings, 4 different destinies, 4 different lessons. Their birth was written in the stars, and so was their end. But their life in between? That was made by their own actions, their own choices. And this is the greatest lesson. We cannot choose our birth, but we can definitely choose our actions. Ravana chose arrogance and found destruction. Vibhishana chose Dharma and found immortality. Every person faces this same choice: darkness or light, a Dharma or Dharma, fall or rise. So this was the story. How did you like it? Did you ever think that the birth of 4 siblings would change the history of the entire universe?
That a boy born at the inauspicious time of evening would one day shake all 3 worlds? That a righteous brother would prove right even by standing against his family? This is the tale of the Ramayana, a story that teaches us that in life there is something greater than power, knowledge, and strength: Dharma. And whoever walks on the path of Dharma is ultimately victorious.